It's Adrian Bowe, CEO of Adrian Bowe Training and Auctions, and also Chief Auctioneer for Ray White, Quakers Hill, the Tesselin Group. It's Sunday, the 15th of June, 2025, and I'm coming to you with my national market wrap and also the local market wrap where I do conduct auctions. Now, it would be remiss of me not to recap last week being the King's birthday long weekend. We conducted no auctions. However, throughout Australia, there were still 1,351 auctions with a 66% clearance rate, which is quite encouraging given it was a long weekend. We had about 1,000 auctions in Sydney, about 1,500 in Melbourne. Good to see the volume up there, and about 150 in Brisbane. The home value index did come out in May, and what an exciting barometer of the real estate industry this is. As we know, this is not clearance rate. This is the combined national value of the real estate vertical asset class throughout the nation, and it's coming in at $11.3 trillion. That's the amount of wealth that's secured in home ownership residentially, which outweighs all the other three asset classes combined, being superannuation, commercial property, and the ASX. Now, the exciting part about May was that it's now been 6 months in a row where we've had positive growth, and also we saw every city and every state achieve some positive growth, where in the past we have seen only the majors that have seen growth. Now, the national average was 0.5% growth. That might seem negligible, but let me tell you, it's a very encouraging sign. And Sydney did see a 0.5% growth. Melbourne saw 0.4% growth, and Brisbane 0.6% of a growth, which is not surprising. The migration up to Queensland is epidemic. Every third or fourth property that I'm auctioning for, or clients that I'm talking to, seems to be a terrific destination. And I've got many coaching clients in Queensland, and they're telling me that properties are just selling so quickly. Their days on market are extremely short. The Olympics now seemed quite distant, but as of next year, it'll only be a couple of years away. So what an exciting few years ahead for the state of Queensland, and good to see another Liberal member there, given that we only had Tasmania as the only Liberal state in the country. Obviously very dominated over the last few years by the Labor government federally and also in all states. So, bringing you back to this week and today, wow, that's all I can say. Wow, we shocked them. We shocked ourselves. We shocked the clients. We shocked the community, and we shocked our owners, but all in a very positive and competitive manner with high integrity hustle and hard work. And it was an amazing achievement to achieve 100% success rate, under the hammer, unconditionally, 10 out of 10, first auction at 9, last auction at 6 p.m, and our energy levels, both myself and the team, Josh, Marin, Laurie, Sam, and Ben, we maintained focus, we maintained discipline, we maintained our energy, we maintained our mindset, we maintained customer service level, and that was a commitment given it was a big day that we were going to be able to provide that customer service to the 6 p.m. auction, the same as the 9 a.m. auction. Now, nationally, throughout the nation, we saw over 2,000 auctions, which is still a little bit low, so we're hoping to see those numbers increase. Sydney had 836 auctions. We had Melbourne with over 1,000. We had Brisbane with 127. The outstanding news and I've got my inside reports coming through to me with early statistics telling us that the national average clearance rate today or for this weekend was 70%. That's a huge uplift, folks, from 2025. We averaged around that high 50s, early 60s, 63% seemed to be the most common clearance rate number. So to have a national average this weekend of 70% is absolutely outstanding. With Sydney had a 70% clearance rate, Melbourne a 72% clearance rate, which is delighting to be informed about, because I know Melbourne have had their struggles over the last few years, just given the land tax issue there, and 22,000 investors selling out last year alone out of that state, just given the land tax, implications that the government are trying to claw back those funds that were overspent during COVID. I mean, Victoria, as we know, was that most locked down state in the world, and they had to pump out so many funds and so many benefits to people, and they're unfortunately clawing that back from the property owners, which I think is a very erroneous move, and certainly something that we don't want to see going forward. So good to see the clearance rate increase there. Brisbane saw a 61% clearance rate this weekend, which is outstanding. Now, our 10 auctions today, bringing you back to the local market, Northwest, Quakers Hill and surrounds, with Josh Tessalon, his team from Ray White Quakers Hill office. Just to give you an idea, I won't run through every single address, but I will let you know that the average number of registrations was 6, and all properties sold at or above the reserve for excellent prices, under the hammer, unconditionally. We didn't have to wait to negotiate later in the day. All were completed. Some we needed to stay around for and work really hard for our vendors and assist those buyers in securing their home. So we were delighted to do that, and it was an outstanding day in that regard. So it was a terrific achievement. Just to run you through the numbers, we started at 9 a.m. at 66 Stockholm Avenue in Hasselgrove, sold for $970. 10 a.m., 19 Barnard Crescent, Oakhurst, sold for $920. 11 a.m., 7 Savage Place, Doonside, sold for $1,110,000. 12 p.m, 16 Karua Street in Doonside as well, and that sold for $1,095,000. At 1 p.m, 38A Hill End Road, also in Doonside, sold for $900. Outstanding result. 2 p.m, we ended up at 8 Essex Street, and that sold for $1,611,000, and that was a failed campaign from a previous agent. So the market really hasn't changed. There was just a difference in strategy, a new approach, a fresh approach, a new database, and obviously over-servicing all the buyers, super qualification when it comes to buyer work, and of course over-servicing those owners as well. Then we went on to 3 p.m, 55 Currajong Crescent in Blacktown, and that was 1,220. Unfortunately, another failed campaign from a previous agent there, so it was just delightful to be able to assist these owners who have been through a really tough time. It's not a great period of these people's lives that we're interacting with them with, so I do beg you and urge you to please be patient with all your vendors and all your buyers, because frankly, we're solving problems. Most people that are selling or buying have a problem they need to be solved, and I'm sick of hearing agents saying, oh, this person's crazy, or this person, is hard to deal with, or whatever. You must go through the buying and selling process yourself to know the type of eclectic emotions and manic feelings that you can have. So you need to be able to recognize and understand we're meeting these clients not necessarily at the best stage of their lives. It should be one of celebration, and that can be the case, but often it can be highly stressful, and we need to overcompensate in terms of our empathy, in terms of our service, in terms of our patience, and in terms of our care and also duty of care as well. 4 p.m, 21 Forest Road, precinct of Laylaw Park, sold for $1,127,000. Great auction. Then at 5 p.m, Townhome 8 at 169 Walker Street in the core market of Quakers Hill there, sold for $900. Terrific result. And then the last auction of the day, quite late in the evening and quite cold, 84 Riverston Parade in Riverston, and that sold for an outstanding price of $1,037,000. So my advice to buyers would be, please do not wait for interest rates to come down and think that you're going to be able to pick up properties at better value, or at least for your sense of perception, be able to get a cheaper home loan, because frankly you're going to be faced with a lot more competition, because if all buyers are thinking the same, so I'd be securing a property if you've got pre-approval and your rates are serviceable, and we need to remember, no matter what happens with interest rates, even though the cash rate now is in that high threes, interest rates are still between 6 and 7%. Even if they come down to 6% at a retail level, it's still 3 times more than they were 18 to 24 months ago for a lot of people. So don't be deluded to think that you should wait as a buyer, and not dissimilar to sellers. I'm hearing a lot of sellers say, well, we'll wait to put our property on the market, because when interest rates go down even further, then we're going to start to see an increase in pricing. Well, after 35 years in the industry, I'm here to tell you that the biggest factor, as far as I'm concerned, that impacts pricing is supply and demand. Now, if every owner, which I understand they are, thinking to sell later in the year after a couple of more interest rate adjustments, decide to sell, well, you're going to have an influx of property. As a seller, you'll have more competition, a higher dilution of buyer interest, and I just don't feel it's a great strategy. However, circumstances are the most important thing. If your circumstances dictate that later in the year is more appropriate for you to sell, that's fine. Please don't let any agent seduce you into thinking you must sell now because the market's going to drop. That's absolute asinine type of rhetoric and behaviour that agents come up with. At the end of the day, you've got to make the decision as the owner when you're comfortable to sell, especially if you've got kids doing HSC, or you're going overseas, or you're renovating. You've been there for many of the owners for many years, sometimes decades, that I'm selling for, and I certainly want owners to feel comfortable when they put their property on the market. I really appreciate you tuning in to this national update, and also that Northwest core market update there. It was an absolute delight and a privilege to achieve that 100% clearance rate, 10 out of 10, and that was certainly something that we strive for, more so as an altruistic approach to our clients. It's a nice goal to have as agents and auctioneers, but certainly changing lives in terms of being able for buyers and sellers to move forward with their life. So God bless all those buyers and sellers, and also to the buyers that did miss out. I do hope that you do find something very, very soon, and I know the team will be working closely with you in order to achieve that. God bless, live with virtue, and I'll see you next week.